Texas recently made a huge offer to help Donald Trump facilitate mass deportations in his upcoming term. In a letter to Trump, Don Buckingham, a medical doctor and the commissioner of the Texas General Land Office, offered him over 1,400 acres of land along the U.S.-Mexico border to build a deportation processing facility. So here to discuss with us is Todd Bensman. He's a senior national security fellow for the Center for Immigration Studies. So Todd, I mean, this sounds like a pretty decent offer. If you were advising Donald Trump, would you tell him to accept this offer?
Yeah, in a heartbeat, of course. Because, this is Texas. This is ground zero for 4 years of mass migration. Most of it came right through Texas. I'm talking to you from Austin. So, I'm very familiar with the situation here. What they're going to need space for is if there is a surge, a mad rush between now and Inauguration Day. And then they need to, after that, they're going to need to hold them somewhere for a few days while they implement remain in Mexico and other pushback policies to put them back into Mexico or to fly them home or just to detain people by law. The law says the Immigration and Nationality Act requires that you detain illegal border crossers until their situation is adjudicated one way or another. So they need space for that.
So, Todd, is there anything else needed? I mean, in terms of like the actual practical obstacles that could be thrown up in the way, if Trump gets in office and starts enacting this? I mean, I'm sure blue states have, their plans, but just start with Texas and red states. Is that just smooth sailing? Are we going to be able to do this?
There's going to be litigation. You're going to have Mexico is already starting to indicate pushback. Where I think the president just recently came out and said something to the effect that we're only going to take Mexican citizens back, none of these other nationalities. And so that's going to be a problem, a diplomatic issue that'll have to be settled between the State Department, the Trump State Department, and the Mexicans. I'm guessing probably some tariffs might settle that pretty quickly, or some bridge closures. And then, they need air assets. They need to fly people, long distances to return them to their home countries. So you need bed space, you need aircraft, you need food. If you're detaining families, you have special needs to detain families for, 3, 4, 5 days, or however long it takes to put them on planes and ship them out. So there is an infrastructure requirement, and they're starting to. There's evidence that the transition team is beginning to think about what sort of infrastructure they're going to need. The Biden administration is already preparing, and the Abbott administration, for a surge over the next 60 days. I don't know if that's going to materialize. So far, so good. Fingers crossed. That they're already sort of deterred by what I call the Trump effect, which is just tough talk. We're going to deport you if you come in here. And it makes people want to stay home or shelter in place for now.
Yeah, let's dive into that a little bit more, because you have been down there with the caravan that was trying to get up and cross the border. You were there in southern Mexico and saw them firsthand. So what do you anticipate? I know that you post on X that illegal crossings are already down following the election, but what do you anticipate before Donald Trump actually gets inaugurated?
It's unstable. Right now, the Mexican government has an operation. They've been doing this for a year now for the campaign, for the Harris campaign, to reduce the terrible look of congestion at the border while she's out there on the stump. The presumption is that the Mexican military operation that has been holding them back down in Tapachula, where I was, would sort of dissipate and end after Election Day. But the day before Election Day, Donald Trump was in North Carolina, I believe it was, at a rally, and he said, if you let any of these people through, when the day I get in, it's going to be 25% trade tariffs, then 50% if I'm not satisfied, 75%, and then 100%. So lo and behold, the Operation Carousel is what they call it, is still holding them back right now. But there are thousands pouring in from Guatemala still, coming through the Darien Gap, et cetera. And there's a chance that the Mexicans won't be able to hold them back. At some point, if they rush all at the same time, it's going to be a really difficult situation for the Mexicans. And that's why the Texans are preparing bulwarks, and they're bringing troops and soldiers in. They're really massing up down there to try to block them if they do start to surge over the southern borders. It's unstable. Right now, the numbers are, about 1,800 a day border wide from Tijuana all the way down to Matamoros. That's a pretty low number historically. It sounds like a lot, 15, 18, 2,000 a day, but it's not the 14,000 a day we were having in December. 10,000, 12,000, 8,000 a day for 4 years straight, 45 months straight. So far, so good. And by the way, one quick thing about that is, Tom Homan was appointed border czar, and he's going out on all the media. I am pretty sure, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that he's going out on media speaking very pointedly about his plans for deportation. If you come in here, don't get comfortable, you're gone. We're going to round you up. And I think that probably has had a tremendous deterring impact on the people that are thinking about doing a mad dash over the border.
Absolutely. And I want to get your thoughts on another case. Earlier today, Jose Ibarra was found guilty on all counts for murder of Laken Riley. And he's, of course, the Venezuelan national that was here illegally. So what's your take on just the guilty counts here for this situation?
Well, I think justice was served. I'm sorry for the family. All of us are. There's nobody who, can look at this case and not get a lump in their throat about what happened and the fact that it was so unnecessary. But if you just look a little bit beyond that, there's reason to be angry for the fact that we had to spend resources on this guy who never should have been in here. We had to investigate, charge, and now we're going to have to take care of him for the rest of his life, paying whatever it is per day to house a prisoner for, 50 years. That's a problem, too. And I think that, yes, justice was served. We got him in prison. But I'll just say, Donald Trump on the campaign trail was saying, he's going to push for the death penalty for people like this. And I think that's fiscally responsible.
Yeah, we are all sending our prayers and thoughts out to Laken Riley's family today. And Todd, please keep us informed on the latest with all of the immigration crisis, because we know that this is still going to continue all the way up through when Donald Trump takes office. Thanks so much for your time.